Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to kick off our next session. Our collective entrance into a more immersive digital life seems inevitable, and it has important implications for the industry. We welcome to the stage our digital experts to discuss the metaverse and the new opportunities it brings. Please welcome our moderator, Ziv Keinan, CEO and founder of Symmetria.io, to introduce our speakers. Welcome, Ziv.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we're going to have an interesting panel today. We're going to discuss the metaverse and the implication on our lives in the coming years. Before I start introducing the panel, shortly introduce myself. My name is Ziv Keinan, and I've been in this space from 2015 in the crypto space. I started as a lawyer, working with many entrepreneurs and projects in the crypto and digital asset space, also connecting it to the securities world. Then I've joined eToro. I was part of the founding team of a DeFi project that eToro was sponsoring, named the Good Dollar. Afterwards, as a COO of a company named Onera that basically connects large financial institutions on a DLT network. And right now, I'm a CEO and founder of Symmetria. We provide private markets with the infrastructure to trade digital securities. Today I have with me Lea Wang, Director at Azure Intelligence Service Limited, Netzer, founder of Equitech Group, Daniel Skowronski, you'll need to help me with that, okay. CEO of Crypto Division, Squared Financials, and Udi Elgrassi, Head of Blockchain at Leverate. So I'll let you guys just introduce yourself in a little bit more details before we begin the panel.
Thanks, Ziv, for the introduction, and hello, everyone. I'm Lea Wang. I'm from the FinTech background. In the past 8 years, I have been working on bridge and aggregation, hosting and connectivity, and the trading supporting tools such as CRM and risk management tools. I'm not going to call myself an expert of metaverse or NFTs, but I would like to address myself as a bold but rational believer of metaverse. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. I'm Netzer, the chairman of the Israeli FinTech Association, FinTech Aviv, and the founding partner of Equitech Group. We're a consultancy, FinTech consultancy, consulting banks and financial institutions on technologies, innovations, and mitigating the gaps between FinTechs that want to reach out to them and to these heavy giants that are looking for new technologies.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel Skowronski. I've been involved in the CFD FX space since 2001, so I see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of old faces, a lot of new faces, so it's really nice to come back to the industry and see you guys again. I've actually stepped out of the industry around 2016 to actually get into the whole crypto space when it really started to explode in 2017. So I guess I'm considered a little bit of an OG in that space. Seen a lot of ups and downs, but I've kind of come back with Squared Financial, seen a lot of brokers getting back into crypto or not back into it, but actually adding crypto as part of their portfolio. We know CFD's been around for a while, but really focusing more on the physical side. So I'm happy to join this panel and see if I can explain the metaverse a little bit to you.
Hello. So my name is Udi Elgrassi. I'm in the industry from 2015. I'm dealing with crypto from 2015-16 with Daniel and Ziv as well. Been involved in different projects during that time. Some of them are very big, some of them are very small, and I'm very happy to be here and part of this panel.
Thank you. So we all heard the term metaverse, right? Is there anyone here that never heard the name metaverse? And Facebook just changed its name to Meta. By the way, I don't know if you know, in Hebrew, Meta means dead, but that's another topic. And so we've all been discussing the metaverse, but how many of you actually know how to define what the metaverse is? So we're gonna let the panel, starting with you, Daniel, taking this task of defining for us what is the metaverse, and then we'll see if you're correct or not.
You know, I came here yesterday, and one of the first panels, they had a bunch of the CEOs and industry experts, and one of the questions was, what is the metaverse? And I thought, oh, this is great for my panel. I can hear what their opinion is. And quite frankly, every single one of them dodged the question. They didn't actually answer. So you're going to have to hear my opinion. So what is the metaverse? Okay, so the metaverse is an idea of a group of, well, actually one area where everybody can interact all together. Now, we hear things like you mentioned Facebook or Meta. They're building what they believe is a world where you can have a house, you can invite your friends, have a party, invite them all over. You have somebody like Microsoft who's building a world where it's more about meetings. You can have your meetings there. But there's other things like a gaming company like World of Warcraft, where you're actually interacting with other players already. It's 24/7, so whether you're there or not, the world is still existing. You're buying things like an armor helmet or a sword. And then you have other things like, for example, Roblox, right, where they're doing really creative things around brands and technology there. So there's a difference between the metaverse and a metaverse, okay? A metaverse is exactly what I just explained to you. There's these verticals, Facebook, Microsoft, Roblox, okay? They're building their own version of a metaverse. The metaverse, the way it would work is that I can buy that helmet and armor in World of Warcraft and actually go show up at my meeting in Microsoft wearing it, okay, as an avatar. That world is going to be very, very difficult for us to actually come to the metaverse, because what you really need is you need all those companies to actually work together, and you know that's time, that's money, and it's actually not so, I guess, advantaged for them to work with somebody else to kind of combine that. So we're very, very far away from the idea of the metaverse, or if you want to kind of, has anyone seen Ready Player One out here? For those who have seen it, or those who have not, it's basically everybody lives in a world with VR headset, and it's one world that everybody basically stays in. And this is what everybody's considering and calling the metaverse. But again, it's basically very siloed right now to a metaverse. So I think when you hear people talk about the metaverse, I think now what you need to think of is more today's world is a metaverse. Who's doing what in which silo?
Ziv, can I add on this? Because this was very interesting, Daniel, and indeed helped me to understand also, well, you know, the difference between a metaverse and the metaverse. I think it helps, but if you think about it, the metaverse is not a new concept. 30 years ago, when I was 10 years old, I was playing Second Life. Someone know Second Life? So it's a game, it's the same. We didn't have the VR, the headset, right? So we didn't have it, but still we had another world, a Second Life, and we had an avatar there.
Do you have to use a VR set or an AR set to be in the metaverse? I think that's a good question.
That's a good question. I don't know what's the answer for that, but today, as we conceive metaverse, the answer is yes. Yeah, we probably nowadays have the supportive hardware, which is the VR, the Oculus, the glasses, whatever it is, and of course, the computer graphics that enables that, and the engine that enables us to be inside that world and to feel inside that world. Now, not to mention, we are talking about the financial industry here. We also have the greater ability than 30 years ago to buy some stuff, to buy some virtual stuff. I read that the metaverse is currently, the spending over the metaverse on all the platforms altogether is around $60 billion, expected to reach to $400 billion in 2027. So yeah, there are money there are funds that are invested here, and we have the payment means nowadays to actually pay for the virtual stuff we buy.
I just want to add one thing you mentioned, and you said about, do you need a VR headset to access the metaverse? Again, the metaverse doesn't exist, okay? It's a metaverse. So a metaverse already exists in games like World of Warcraft. You don't need a VR headset to get that. Roblox, you don't need a headset to get that, but you do in Facebook's world, you do in Microsoft's world. But you know, that's going to be a challenge, I think, in itself, because look, I don't know, how many of you guys have actually put on and worn a VR headset? Was it comfortable? Did you guys get sick a little bit after a while? I mean, I know I have the Oculus Rift and my son plays it for hours, but I can't be more on it for more than 15 minutes. I don't know if it's my age or what, but I just can't, right? So that's a huge, huge technical challenge for those worlds like Facebook, who's, I think, investing $10 billion into the industry to try to overcome. How do you make that experience better? Now, there's other things like AR, that's another part, augmented reality, where you can kind of see, again, something happening over here, a monster is going to come on top of you guys, right? But again, how do you kind of capture that? I think that's more for brands, but we'll talk about that later.
I think from my side, I would like to say a few things about the metaverse. I like the definition of Daniel, and Nir was talking about Second Life and the gaming aspect of the metaverse as we see it today. But I think the buzz that we see around the metaverse is coming from the fact that we are moving away from gamified solution or gamified specific metaverse into a much more expanded life experience environment that will allow us to actually conduct any behavior or any business that we would like on the metaverse and have that reflected in our existing life today. So for example, you can go to a virtual supermarket and order the stuff that you want, check that stuff, see the 3D animation, and order that delivery directly to your house. And the integration of that virtual world, which will allow us to work, buy services, and get real-life assets into our existing life, this is the major change that I see. And I think this will lead the upcoming years. The way we live today will change completely in the up 5 to 10 years because the metaverse is going to be integrated in our lives, and it's going to be a complete part of what we do, the way we live, how we work, and how we interact with friends and colleagues.
I totally agree. And the metaverse concept is not new. It has been out for many decades, but it's not in production yet. So if we ask 100 person, maybe we'll get 100 different answers. What is metaverse? So, but there are actually something that has been agreed upon, which metaverse is a society with identification, and it has its mature financial system. And when I do the research, I saw some saying says, okay, metaverse is a new world that's in parallel with our current world. I'm not fully agree with that concept because it kind of separated our current real life and the metaverse. Because to me, metaverse is part of our life and it's gonna be part of our life, but it's a reality, but in a digital way. Digital doesn't mean fake, because it just provides us more alternatives and much more convenience to our daily life offline, but we're in the same world. So this may still be dry, talking like that, but just picturing this, 10 years from now, we're still having this iFX EXPO here, and we're still in this speaking hall. However, instead of paying for those booths or entrance with euros or USDs, we're paying with ultimate FinTech tokens, right? Or with the participants, with speakers, visitors, or the exhibitors, instead of we physically being here, we can come either be here or via the 3D projected holograms. So you can walk around, have the same experience, but you don't necessarily be here. And for example, now we see Ziv with this business suit. Maybe he's with his hiking suit, backpacking in the Alps or something, but he showed up with a digital business suit. So all these are happening. And this is kind of metaverse I'm picturing.
I agree, I fully agree. You know, I saw that only small part of the metaverse is dedicated to conferences. Actually, 50% of the metaverse currently is dedicated for the gaming world. And of course, goes without saying, most of the users, 50% I think from these users are 13 years old or something. So we see the majority of users are still Gen Z, and yeah, it's gonna be at our homes, everybody, but it's not yet there. And I saw 25% of metaverse is for social media. Obviously, that's a big thing, but we're still not in a completely business world. And currently, the online shopping experience with the metaverse is only 10%. So that's why this market is going to be huge, so big. And the most interesting project I saw with VR, Google's, I think it's a cooperation of eBay and IKEA, was to design your home by using an Oculus. So you can see your house with augmented reality Oculus, and you can put the furniture from IKEA whenever you want, just to see if it fits. And then you can actually order the furniture online. So this is something in between the metaverse and augmented reality, and it combines the hardware and software we all aspire to use one day.
Thank you, Nir. I want to suggest my own definition of the metaverse. I think the metaverse is the way that we interact with the cyberspace. We know for a while there's a complete cyberspace now. When you wake up in the morning, you drink your coffee, and you eat something, and then you plug your computer and you enter into this world of the cyberspace. But the way that you interact with this world is through the keyboard. You do not use your hands. You do not own anything. So, and the metaverse brings another approach, which means the way that you will interact with this world is you will be immersed, whether through VR, AR, anything like that. You'll be immersed into this world, and that brings some philosophical questions, which Elon Musk, I don't know if you heard him talking about it, that perhaps we already are in the metaverse, and there's some logical arguments to that. That it speaks about how the universe is large and there's so many stars and has to be stars like us. So where are all the aliens? We probably live in the metaverse. This is like Elon Musk's crazy thinking of a genius. I want to dive into the next thing, which obviously we have to touch when we're speaking about the metaverse, which is NFTs. So this is a story by Vitalik Buterin that when he was a little bit younger, and Vitalik is on a spectrum of some sort, he was playing World of Warcraft, and he had this beautiful object that he acquired on the game. But then at some point, the creator of Warcraft decided to change the characteristic of this object, and he basically lost his value. And from there, he thought, what would be great? If I was actually the owner of this object, if I could take this object from one place to another, and I think this is part of the message that the NFT are bringing to the space. But with all, when we think about NFT, I think also people have different definitions of understanding what they are, where the value of NFT comes from. How come that a bunch of ape JPEGs that is stored on the DLT worth so much? And I was thinking maybe you have some thinking about it, starting with you, Udi, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, obviously. So for me, the NFT, as we defined it today, is a way for us, because we are living in an environment which is heavily dependent on the internet and on a borderless environment. The NFT allows us to verify and to attach a unique number to anything. And when we attach that unique number to that specific item or picture or any other thing, then we can trade it, we can attach value to it, and we can add properties to that specific item on the internet. And this allows us to feel more confident when we are trading or doing any other action over the internet. So I think for me, the NFTs is the first stage of a much bigger verification process and environment over the internet that will allow us to verify the items that we see, trade, or consume.
I think I'll just add a little bit to that. So, NFTs, they're pretty much all over the place, let's face it, right? And why on earth would you spend so much money on just a JPEG? It's crazy. But to Ziv's point about wanting to that ownership, right? And going back to the metaverse, okay? Like that sword that you want to own. What the NFT does, the technology behind it, the genius behind it, it legitimizes that sword now in the real world. So Nike, they came out, and I think there was a big piece around, they created these Nike shoes online. But those are rare shoes. It's a rare NFT, but the NFT made it legitimate. It's no different than you walking down to the store and buying, well, at least the idea is, it's no different than you going down to the store and buying a rare pair of Nikes and put them in your closet and collecting them, right? So the NFT is the first step to actually legitimizing these digital assets where it's real ownership. Now, the idea of being able to, again, take it to a cross-platform, we're light years away from being able to do that just because of the competition between the verticals or the different metaverses out there. But I think the NFT is actually one of the founding building blocks that will help the metaverse kind of come together.
I agree, Daniel. And if I can back to the Second Life example again. So if we used to pay with credit cards, we had digital payment means. Now we have different digital payment means. And it reminds me the way we explained blockchain back in the days, a few years ago. We said distributed ledger. And it's the same. It's still the same distributed ledger and distributed mechanism. And we can definitely have ownership on virtual assets and establish this ownership. So if you think about it, the NFT is just the technological way of legal IP rights registration. So I have the proof, I have the evidence that I'm the owner of something virtual, and that's what NFT is. Of course, eventually I will be able to pay with it, I'll be able to exchange it for other goods, other virtual goods, or physical goods, but eventually it's a payment mean of the new world, of our new world.
Well, one last part I'll add is that's one of the best things that came out of blockchain, right? Sure, there's Bitcoin and Ethereum and other 1,000 different coins, but the technology, the foundation of the technology is really what we all need to kind of support and explore out there. And this is what's going to build that next, metaverse or a metaverse or Web3, how as we move forward.
I would like to add that what we see now from the NFT industry is just very, very early stages of this, because we are going to see the transaction between securities and the evaluation of that online expressed by NFTs later on down the road. So we're going to see real estate being tokenized on an NFT base. We're going to see identity management being conducted on an NFT environment. So a lot of things that we today look at them and we need external provider to verify them, like a local government or a bank or a real estate agent or anybody else. Later on, we will just use those NFT infrastructure to verify those and approve them, own them, and trade them.
Udi, just, one point. You guys, you're flying like 10,000 mile high, and I'm asking, people in the audience, they want to know, should I buy NFT now? Like this, if I'm buying NFT now, am I buying part of the metaverse? What's the value behind all those ape pics? Why do people pay $1 million to 300 or 400? What's the price right now to buy an ape pic? I can tell you from my own story. I have a good friend that's trading NFTs, and he at the time told me, Ziv, you should buy those apes. And it was like 5, 6K, and it's not a huge amount of money, but for an ape pic. So what's the value? Why do people address so much value to an ape pic or to another NFT? Where does it come from?
I think this actually lies behind the actual value of NFTs. What you've mentioned just now, they are focusing on the functional value, which is for the either act like a game coin that you need to use in the NFT game, or it's for the trading. Okay, I expect it now, I buy it low price, and then I want to sell it high in order to make a profit. This belongs to the functional value. However, there are also this hedonic value for the NFTs, which is more focusing on emotional attachment or connection with the issuer. So for example, some bands or celebrities, they would issue their own NFTs, and their fans would love to show their support, or they would show, okay, I can buy his NFT and I get this label of identity that I can be the same cool of people. So yeah, it's like I'm part of the club. I'm part of the like membership. I can get this exclusive membership where I can get the priority or limited edition or discount, etc. So it's this, the emotional level of gain. That's also where part of the value lies.
I agree. Being part of the community is part of the thing. And ask yourself the question, if I should buy an NFT, it's too general question. It's like asking yourself if I should buy a house. Where? Which real estate? What's the price per square meter? You know, there are several questions you need to ask yourself before you invest, even if it's a virtual product. And we saw, for example, we talked about real estate. The real estate prices over the metaverse, beginning of 2021, I think the average property price was $100. Now we're talking about more than $15,000. So the averages and the real estate prices are going up also in the metaverse. If you want to secure this purchase with an NFT, you need to ask yourself, what do I buy? Eventually, what's behind this NFT? Am I buying illegal rights to a song, to an original song, original virtual painting? Whatever you're buying, you should consider the product itself, even if it's virtual, not the NFT that represents it, right?
I think the other thing you got to look at is the age demographic, right? You know, crypto was really born out of quite a younger generation. Yeah, there were some older guys like myself and stuff that were maybe coding and doing some of the stuff, but generally, this is an accepted form of transaction for the younger kids today, right? So it's a different mindset, it's a different mentality. I'll give you an example. I was working with some kids, with one of my kids, and the coach, who happened to only be 25 years old, he said, hey Dan, I see you're investing and doing a lot of stuff. He didn't mention anything about crypto or stocks. I'm immediately thinking stocks, and he goes, hey, can you help me build my first portfolio? And I said, great, how much money do you have? And he said, oh, I have about $1,000. I said, perfect. You know, what do you I'll tell you what, you go do some research on your own and I'll take a look. When he came back to me, you know what he had for his portfolio? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Sandbox. Not one FANG stock and not one traditional stock. That really was like an epiphany for me to say, you know what? This is the new generation. This is their new way of thinking. This is not about penny stocks or tulips or anything. This is a new movement, a new generation. And this is what's going to play very well into a metaverse or eventually the metaverse, right? So when you ask the question, should I buy an NFT? Well, sure, why not? You know, again, it just goes back to what you're saying is pick your places, do your research, and if you want to make it part of your portfolio, make it part of your portfolio. But there is an undercurrent movement that is happening, and it's starting with the younger generation.
First, I would like to say that this is not investment advice, and we are not responsible for your investment and portfolio. So do what you want and do your research. So let's start with this. But I think what we are seeing now in the NFT world, and I'm addressing specifically what we see on OpenSea, which is the graphic, animation, pictures, and stuff like that, is an early stage buzz that was created because of the media attention. And I think, I'm not sure that this version of NFTs that we see now will be the right version that most of us will invest in. I think later on, version 2, version 3 of those NFTs will allow us to have more, let's say, practical or feasible assets that will be translated into our real life. So buying now, I'm not sure it's the right thing to do. And again, choose your investment wisely.
So
I will say, though, you can come to Squared Financial and buy those NFTs in crypto, so that's not investment right.
I want to share that I was teaching a class about crypto and digital assets, and I asked the students, like, what's the deal with NFTs? Like, why do you buy them? You know, and they said something which, you know, resonates with me. They said, look, like, we're not going to own a house. You know, the hyperinflation now, you know, it's so expensive. Even if we're mortgaging our entire life right now, there's no chance that we buy a house in a decent place, you know. And it's very hard, you know, with the low interest rate, you know, it's very hard to save or to make money in the financial markets. NFTs is like the way, and it's go back to what you said, Daniel, before that. NFTs are a way to invest, you know, the small amounts of money that we're able to save, and with the option that someday it will be worth something. And this is what I heard from my students. So I want to take this discussion to the next phase. So we have in our audience CEOs and managers of large companies. They're investing a lot in their brands, and they're asking themselves, like, what can I do in the metaverse to enhance my brand? So for example, and I'm going to start with this beautiful bag that I'm seeing right now in front of me. We know that a Gucci bag in the metaverse was sold for more money than a bag in reality, yeah, and in the real world. So do you think that the future of NFT is basically based on enhancing brands? You'll have a Gucci bag in the metaverse. You'll have your watch, your Omega watch in the metaverse, and that would add you value. Do you think there's an opportunity here for brands that are investing so much? We see here in their brands.
Okay, as it started as my bag, so I'd like to answer these questions first. In my humble opinion, what happened for Gucci bag, I think it's more like a hype, or it's more like a buzz. But for the luxury brand, I do believe there's a reason for them to move into the metaverse. Not only luxury brand, but for many industries and for many companies. Just as what I said just now, because there is this emotional connection for these different companies or for different celebrities. Like Adidas joined this BAYC, this Bored Ape Yacht Club. This is a very good example of this hedonic value for NFTs, because who are in that club? They are the famous NBA players from the movie stars, the musicians, Justin Bieber, whoever are in there. So when individuals, they want to join that club, is because, okay, I want to be as a cool person as them, or I can maybe buy this NFT and sell in the future for a higher price. But for the companies, like Adidas join that same club, potentially they can, on one hand, identify themselves as a cool brand, so they can attract a real audience or the real customers in real life because they present it to be so cool. On the other hand, for their own company, potentially they can get some unique or exclusive business opportunities within the members that in there. So it makes sense for the brands to move to the metaverse or to join some club like that. However, me personally, I'm not a really loyal fan for any brand, so for me, I would not spend a lot of money to buy just the digital version of luxury brand. For me, why I buy this is because they are practical. I can put my keys, I can put my laptops inside. However, if you ask me to spend some money to buy a virtual just to show off, no.
Not yet. Not yet. It's like the question when we had first met, the TV, okay? It's another platform. The radio, it's another platform. So you ask yourself, do you think Nike is going to have a TV commercial? Of course Nike is going to have a TV commercial. Maybe the Gucci bag thing is just a hype. It's just for now. But fact is, we saw that researchers are expecting that the fashion industry in the metaverse will reach to $55 billion in spending by 2030. So yeah, there's going to be a fashion industry in the metaverse, and people are going to buy their Gucci bags, Omega watches for status symbols, because they're going to have their avatar and they're going to maintain their avatar, and it's going to be a cool avatar who will drive a Mercedes. And that's life. That's the new life. And again, I'm going back to the example of Second Life. Your avatar stays there. Your avatar is who you are, just in the parallel world. So yes, the fashion industry is going to, sorry for my French, kick some ass in the metaverse, and we have no way to avoid it. Sure thing.
Yeah, I'll add to that. Does anyone here play Call of Duty?
Which one?
Yeah, which one, right? Look, okay, I'm a gamer too. I play Call of Duty. And how many times have you guys bought a skin or what? I mean, I've done it a lot, right? And I think one of the coolest ones that came out was when Rambo and John McCain from Die Hard came out, right? But, the idea that I'm thinking about behind that is, the movie rights sold that, right? To be able to do that, right? So it's no different to what's going to happen eventually in a metaverse. I'm actually thinking more, I'll go back to the avatar example, maybe what Facebook is trying to build. You know, you're going to have your avatar. I'm going to carry around my wife will carry around a Gucci bag, I'm sure, right? Or a Chanel bag. And that's going to cost money. That's going to real cost because she's going to want to be able to show off like she does there in the virtual world. And look, it's happening today. It's happening in Call of Duty. It's happening in World of Warcraft. It's just, again, how does that get eventually translated into where you can bring that into those meetings where you are interacting with other people? And that's going to take some time, or they're going to stay in these verticals, right? So it'll be interesting for me to see how somebody like Chanel or Gucci or Nike or Coca-Cola will work with the Facebooks or Microsofts of the world to get their products immersed into those metaverses that they're building.
I would like to address specific market, which is the FinTech, finance, CFDs market, and how can we gain from that metaverse buzz and environment. I think we saw some major changes coming in the last few years with the social trading, cryptocurrency trading, and the environment, or let's say the community around the brokers. And I think the metaverse will allow us to sell a much more strong experience to the client that will allow us to go through different process that today we are doing that through call centers, through lectures, through conferences, but we will allow the clients to go onto the metaverse to join the broker or the crypto exchange or any other thing that we are doing today and join that community, allowing the clients to get education, access to additional instruments and tools through the metaverse. So basically we can conduct a complete marketing aspect of the brokers and the crypto exchanges on the metaverse that will reflect through the deposit that we will get from the client. So I think it's going to be a dual process in the beginning, but later on we will move completely into the metaverse and allow all the services and everything that we do today to be online and available 24/7 for our clients. So I think it's a very good timing to start addressing that topic.
You already start answering my next question, which I hate that people do that. But let's go. We have Square Financial's digital officer here, and we have Leverett's digital officer here, and I really want to touch upon trading. So we've seen really interesting experiments in the trading of NFTs. One of them is Damien Hirst. I don't know if you know. He's an artist. He's an artist from the UK. He allows you to trade the tokens, the NFT, of an art piece that exists in reality. And that art piece is traded, this token is traded, and at the end you have two choices. Whether to stay with the NFT, but then Damien destroy the real art piece, and you're left only with the NFT. Or you can exchange the NFT for the art piece itself. So first question would be what would you choose? And the second question is do you think that this, as a trading platform, would you want to offer trading in those assets in the future? And do you see the future in those assets?
Everybody's looking at me. Okay. I guess I'm going to answer it this way. Would I actually trade it? Look, if there was a world where I could actually trade without getting sick, because I think right now, again, the only really interesting thing for me is let me say it this way. So one of the things Squared Financial is working on is a VR trading platform where you can actually walk in and it's got really cool things. You could really do all these touch things, like the things you see in the movies, right? But the fact of the matter is you got to wear one of these VR headsets. And I don't know, for myself and a lot of you I saw out here, how long can you really stay on that? In terms of what you're asking around owning an NFT or trading it for something real, again, I just don't really believe in that concept at the moment. It's either one or the other. So, yeah, no, I wouldn't do it.
So you would trade it for the real art piece, or you would stay with the NFT and continue to trade it?
I think I would just stay with the NFT.
Okay, nice.
It reminds me, when we started taking photos in digital cameras. So what was your preference, to keep the digital copy or to print it like we did in the old days? There's plus and minuses, it's negative and positive aspect to whatever you do. But as for NFT, as a Mt. Gox victim, as for keeping the NFT, nowadays, I always prefer to have something physical in hand. Unlike you, Daniel, I would choose the physical piece. That's me. Until that, maybe there will come a time when I'll be comfortable enough with keeping only the NFT, but by then, I still prefer physical copies.
Yeah, of course, the dilemma is between something which is physical but untraded, then to something which is virtual that is traded but does not have any representation in the outside world of the NFTs. So I think it's like a clever experiment.
It is.
So I want to take us to the last stage of the discussion. Then we can have some Q&A. As Daniel mentioned before, and I know it from my experience, but buying an NFT today is a complicated process, and I wanted you to try and envision, like, how would you see that world develop through the different vectors that we discussed, the way that it operates, whether through VR or not, whether we see more assets traded. Take us a few years into the future, and let us speculate about where this industry is going to be and how it's going to be used.
Yeah, sure. I can start. As I said before, I think it's going to be in every aspect of life. We're going to use it as we use Facebook, just with the VR goggles, and we're going to be in a different world. We're going to use it for gaming if we are gamers, and we're going to use it for creating NFTs and virtual art products and sell them. I think that the future lies in the way it's being approached, in the frictionless manner that users can consume it. This is where it's going to be to everybody. Like nowadays, everybody can buy Bitcoin with the digital wallet. I think that nowadays everybody can buy NFT in OpenSea as well. It's quite easy to log into the platform, have a username and password, and start paying either with virtual money or with credit card for your NFT. That's doable nowadays. But I think as long as we're going to have frictionless world, and as long as we're going to have a seamless journey, both for onboarding and for an enjoyable and gamified journey for purchasing stuff and using the metaverse, we're going to use that. We're going to adopt it. No question.
And I'd like to answer this question from a broader aspect. I do believe the metaverse has potential for all the industries, because what is including our financial trading industry. Because what I am picturing in the next 5 or 10 years, there's no single we call it brokers or liquidity providers or technology providers. We're not going to separate the participants like that. Somehow we're going to have, for example, all-in-one, a 3D platform where you just log in with one account, and then you can find your e-banking, your trading session, your learning, or even interaction or entertainment. Everything is there. So, picturing this, okay, today you feel like to do some shopping. So you walked into your room where you have a corner where you have your VR set up there. You put on your sensing devices. By then, maybe instead of a huge goggle, you can have a chip or some just AirPods-sized thing. You put it on, and then you entered your metaverse. There, okay, you are shopping a digital shirt. Then you paid with your e-wallet or e-bank from your cryptocurrency. And at the same time, while you're paying, you notice your balance. And then from the trading session, you notice, oh, today's oil price is high. I'm not sure if I should short it. So you walked out of that room, and then you entered another room next door where all the traders from global gathering together via the projected hologram, whatever, and then everybody's sharing their trading opinions, and you found some really good signals that where you can do the copy trading. And then you place the order and you made a huge profit, you're really happy. But at this moment, there's like system notification with Alexa or even Dave Chappelle's voice reminding you, hey bro, today's your wife's birthday and she's just 2 miles away. And then you got panic. Oh my God, I didn't like buy any gift for her, what should I do? And then now Dave told you, how about you check about this necklace and it can be delivered to your home in 2 minutes. And then you're really happy. Okay, I'll buy this. Thanks, David. And then David said, no, don't thank me, thank big data. Because this is what she has been talking about during the past months with her friends, but she didn't manage to buy. So you place that order and you logged out of your metaverse and your wife's come home and she received that necklace. She's really happy. And then you increased your monthly money, pocket money or no, pocket NFTs or whatever. So that's how the metaverse can enhance our life and provide opportunities for different providers or companies. And the same for our industry. Like the metaverse is really built on the advanced technologies such as 5G or this ultra low latency internet and also this augmented reality, etc. So this also opens opportunities for our current provider, like hosting providers or the ISPs, because you can provide the same service from now for the brokers or the crypto exchanges to the more blockchain related companies. And the same as for the copy trading or other CRM providers or even the payment providers. You can use the same principle just to add into the metaverse world. So that's how we can utilize all this.
For the future, I always like to consult my magic 8-ball. You guys know these things, Outlook unclear. Okay, so look, as I said before, there's a bunch of metaverses right now, and I think that's what we're going to be looking at for the next probably 5 years or so. The technology just isn't there. The cooperation between the companies is not going to be there anytime soon. Maybe by 2030, we might start to see some iterations of some games, or most likely the games, or maybe some of these office spaces or communities might start to come together. But really right now, I think we're looking at these individual siloed metaverse at the moment.
For me, I think I want to look at a positive way at the future, and I would like to see a world with no borders, no limitations, where everybody could do everything whenever they want. So today, most of the Western world population is determining the pace, but still we have massive amount of people that are not connected to our world because of infrastructure issues, because of technologies issues. And I think the metaverse will allow us as a one world to be more connected, to buy services from different people in different locations, much more expandedly than what we do today. And this will allow the world to become a much better place and will allow the world to develop quicker and more positively. So this is my thoughts regarding the future.
If the regulators allow it, of course. If the regulators allow it, of course.
Yeah.
Everything is if the regulators allow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just want to add a little bit. I think we should really have a rational expectation for the metaverse or blockchain or NFTs. We shouldn't overestimate it, how it's going to be in the next 1 or 2 years, because it's not going to be developing so fast based on all the technology constraints, etc. And most importantly about this decentralized financing, because all these metaverse and NFTs are based on this decentralized. However, this is kind of going against of our current financial system, which the central bank or the government, they would like to centralize and have control over the money flows. So before this has been agreed upon or solved, our metaverse may still be at a fancier version or a better experience version of the game-like kind of environment, I would say.
I agree, and to add on top of this, one last remark, the CBDCs and stable coins that are issued by central banks, I think that they are going to be supportive in the financial industry as a whole and in the metaverse and in finance aspects of metaverse. So as they come along to this game, it's going to speed the game up.
This is a whole new panel. You know, we'll do that panel in next time. I really wanted to have like few minutes for Q&A. If the time allows, Jenny, we can do Q&A, like short Q&A. 1 minute, okay, one. Yeah. So any question from the audience of what we've seen? Yep.
Thank you very much for your explanation. My practical question. So you are going to use this platform for crypto trading, yes? So another thing is like attraction of your customers. Am I right?
This is for the members of the panel.
That's why we have crypto professional and blockchain professional here.
Can you repeat the question, please?
So you're going to use Metaverse platform to attract the clients to trade crypto.
How to do it? How to explain to you how to do it?
I mean, crypto trading is going to be part of the Metaverse platform. Am I right?
Is crypto going to be part of the Metaverse platform?
Obviously, if you want, you can go to the Metaverse, buy a land, open a business.
There is just attraction of the new generation of the customers. Am I right?
Absolutely. I think you can attract them over there like any other brand is doing.
Thank
Adidas,
you.
Nike, and so on.
Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, distinguished member of the panel.
Thank you very much, Ziv. Thank
We
you.
now concluded.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.